Hello everyone, it's Hannah here from Virtually Fluent. Welcome to today's video, part 2 of 2 on the topic of the environment. The environment is one of the biggest, if not the biggest challenge that faces us today in 2022 and for many years ahead. But there are things that we can do in the house, and we're going to look at some of those typical things today. One of the first things that we can do in the household to reduce damage towards the environment is by using these recyclable bags, also called bags for life. Now, I use these as an alternative to single-use plastic bags, which are one of the biggest contributors to litter damaging our ecosystem outside. Now, plastic bags, these single-use plastic bags, were readily available in the UK until around 2015. They were free of charge in supermarkets, in shops. But then a new fee was introduced. I think they charged 5p per plastic bag, and that's recently increased to 10p per plastic bag, I think. And as a result, the use of plastic bags, these single-use plastic bags, drastically decreased. I can't even remember the last time I used a single-use plastic bag. I just use these bags for life instead. The second thing that we can easily do at home is recycling. Now, I think recycling is pretty popular in most European countries. I've lived in many European countries, and a lot of people do this. Here in the UK, the things that you can recycle really depends on which council you live in. So I live here in Winchester City Council, and they give us these free plastic bin bags. We've got a whole list of things we can and can't recycle. Typical materials you can recycle are paper and cardboard, glass, bottles, different types of plastic, cans and tins, sometimes aerosols. And if there are extra things that you cannot recycle, it's in the no thank you list, then you can go down to the main household recycling centre, which isn't too far from us. You can take your recycling waste, or general waste even, down to that centre and get rid of it. All of the houses here in our council have also been given a black bottle bank, which is where we can dispose of glass bottles, glass jars, and we put all of this, our glass bottle bank and also our recycling bags, out at the front of our house, and the bin man will come collect it on a weekly basis. The third thing that we can try and do to limit damage to the environment is not use private vehicles such as cars. Instead, we could use hybrid alternatives or electric vehicles or non-emitting vehicles like a bicycle. I myself don't have a car, so instead I use public transport, which is really reliable where I live, and sometimes use a bike. The fourth thing that we can try and do to be kinder towards our environment is to try and buy local produce. Now, certainly post-Brexit, I've become a lot more aware of where my products actually come from. When I go to the supermarket here, I try to buy products that are made here in the UK. You can see exactly where they are sourced from, or we can have the British or one of the UK flags here too. Now, if I can't find something from here in the UK, I try to find something that's as close as possible, or to simply buy an alternative product instead. We're also really lucky here in our city, Winchester, that we have a fresh market stall too. All of the farmers from around the area bring their fresh produce, fruits and vegetables, dairy, bread, and it's all on the market. I try to buy as much of that as possible in order to buy that locally sourced produce.
We can also try to keep the lights turned off or use energy-efficient light bulbs. We can use blankets, slippers, jumpers, and hot water bottles as opposed to central heating. We should keep water consumption to a minimum. Take short showers or wash up in a sink full of water. And finally, try to be paper-free.
So hopefully you've learned a little bit of environmental vocabulary in English through today's video. Don't forget to like today's video, especially if you learned something new. You can also go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn notifications on so you know exactly when I release a new video on my channel, to really help you improve your English vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, and so much more. And it's not just YouTube. You can also find me across loads of different social media channels. I've left all the links to those channels in the description below. Please go ahead, like, follow, share, join, subscribe, whatever you need to do. All those links are below. That's everything for today. This is Hannah from Virtually Fluent, bringing English to life.